So that's me. That's 2018, okay? And now I have something to do with travel. I will start with travel, but this talk is not about travel. So back in 2018, I had a pact with myself that I'm going to be traveling every month this year. Now, why this is interesting is because I really did not have money. Believe me, I didn't have money because I was in between jobs. I had quit my corporate career. I'm a chartered accountant, and I did CA because my friends were doing it. And just in a few years of working in a corporate, I made some good friends. Everything was fine, all was going okay. But somehow, I felt this is not for me. I have something else to do. This is not my calling. So that's how it started. Now, these are a few pictures from 2018, all of these. I had given my husband 12 pictures. He just put 4 on the PDF. So I guess you'll have to suffice with that. Yeah. So this one, by the way, was a solo trip. And I did it with, it wasn't really solo because I traveled with some 20-25 strangers. But it was an amazing, magnificent trip. Now, this idea became such a center of my life that everything started to happen around it. Okay? It became such a thing. It became such a thing in my life that it almost became a hyper object. What do I mean by hyper object? I mean, it became something tangible, something that I could touch. It was so real for me. Now, what happened is that the force of this idea, what I was experiencing within, it became so prominent that it started to affect my reality. It started to affect my world, my decisions, my thoughts. Now, the larger idea is even more interesting. How did I manage all the money that I needed for these 12 trips? I actually ended up traveling 12 times that year, which included Bhutan, which included Indonesia. And this was despite the fact that I did not have a permanent source of income. I was barely surviving on my savings. And I mean it, believe me when I say this. I've got money now, I didn't have it then. So Bhutan was one of them, and Bhutan was such a special trip because I noticed 2 very, very good things. I don't have the perfect word for it, but first of all, are any one of you anxious flyers here? People are scared of turbulence? I am. And Bhutan was the worst landing ever. My plane was this, okay? We were, I don't know, this is not a fact. I'm not stating a fact, I'm just telling you my experience. It was this, I was this, everybody was this. And when we touched down, we were all clapping for a pilot. Another thing very nice that I noticed in Bhutan was that Bhutan did not have billboards. This was something very unique that I observed over there. I don't know if they have them now or not, but they didn't have them then. So the roads were plain, no advertisements anywhere. It felt really different around then because our roads are not like that. They're not. You're forced to read everything that comes in front of you. है ना? होता है ना? You don't want to read, but you're forced to read. What will you do? Now what happened is, the bigger thing that opened up to me by doing this in 2018 was that this can be done. I realized that despite not having money, not having time, and more than anything else, the will is very important to do something like this. Traveling every 20 days, right? Not having any of that. How did I manage? That's not the real question. The real answer here is that I could manage. It happened so. And that actually made me realize that it has become a source of projectness, a source of causeness. Now, these two are not really words. I made them up. So this idea had become a project. I was working towards it all the time. No matter which direction I go, I would end up there. This was the center of my life. Something that I could hold on to, something that I would work towards, something that became my motivation to live life. Despite all the chaos that was going on otherwise, this became my solid, stone that helped me navigate. It became a tool that helped me navigate all the chaos in my life. Now that gave me an idea. What if I start, this is my future timeline. Right now I'm here and this is my life ahead of me. What if I look at it from the perspective of a painter? Okay? From the perspective of a painter, and I start placing objects on my timeline. Some ideas, okay? Some idea, some experience, some nice to do. Anything. It need not be something to do with a lot of money. No. It could be anything. It could be some new theater that has just gotten released in your town. It could be some new movie that has come up. Anything. So, I thought, this is my future timeline, and what I'm going to do is, I'm going to start designing it. I'm going to look at it from the perspective of a painter, and this is a blank canvas of time. My life ahead of me is a blank canvas. Nothing has happened yet. I'm going to throw in some strokes. I'm going to throw in some paint on it. And that's how I started to live. This, now actually I'm talking about the real idea. This is what I call the top-down approach of living life. You look at your life from above with a bird's eye view, and you proactively start designing your life. Like, see, at any moment in our lives, if you see, if this is my life, my entire timeline of life, if that is a blank canvas, we are only living in just one pixel of it at any moment. I'm standing here right now in front of you. You're listening to me right now. This is just one pixel. Now tell me one thing. If all your pixels look exactly the same, how would your life turn out to be? How would that painting look like at the end of your life? Same color, same gray, same black, same white. Would you want your life to look like that? Would you not want all the pixels to look different? One red, one orange, one pink, like a sari. Would you not want your painting to stand out? And is it going to happen on its own? It's not. It's not. There's this series of books by the name The Hunger Games. Some of you might have read it. It's amazing. So what happens is, for the people who haven't read it, let me just quickly tell you. What happens is that there is a brutal combat going on in a massive arena. And the last surviving person gets to be the winner, and rest everybody dies. Okay? There's this protagonist. Her name is Katniss Everdeen, Jennifer Lawrence, as you can see. And she realizes in a moment that thus far in the games, she was only playing defensively. Only playing defensively. She was only hiding from others. Only running away from everybody. And then there comes a moment when her food and water is being taken care of. She's relaxed a little. And she realizes that now is the time I start thinking of the ways of how I can attack. Because just by hiding, I'm not going to be a winner. And that's when she starts to think about the ways how she can destroy other people's weapons, how she can destroy other people's food. And that was the time she realizes that she was making an offense for the first time ever in the games. And this is what I'm asking you to do. Making an offense. not leaving everything to chance. The tentacles of chaotic life, I think you'll relate with this picture a little. Tentacles of chaotic life and chaotic world have immense time, immense bandwidth to take up all the finite time of your lives. Chaos is big. We human beings, thinking machine of wavering mood with limited attention, limited time and limited will, limited memory. We are very small. So I ask you, is it possible for you to stop living defensively? Stop living in a reactionary mode all the time. And you try and take the reins of your lives in your own hands. Is it possible for you? It is possible. You just have to realize it for once. Because life is not supposed to be lived in a linear fashion. All days looking exactly the same. It's not supposed to be lived that way. So why not you make a dent, you put your will to use, because otherwise you're leaving too much to chance. When we line up events, when we line up experiences, when we line up our to-dos on a future timeline, what we are doing is we are sending gifts to our future selves. And as we proceed on a future timeline and those moments arrive, we receive those gifts from our past selves. And when we receive those gifts, we actually live them. We actually do those things. This is the idea of top-down approach. Start thinking about it. People are living it. You probably had not heard of it. Now you're aware. You can make a conscious choice. Since 2018, I have continued to live this way. We all want to live differently. We all want to have various experiences, read good books, meet new people, do something crazy, do something wild in our lives. And we do realize in our hearts कि इस सब के लिए वक्त तो निकालना पड़ता है. But what I realized is that just dreaming about it or understanding it is not enough. It's not going to be enough for you. कुछ और करना पड़ेगा. One has to learn from the way companies do it. They have a plan of action. Each company has a plan of action. It's simple. They follow that plan. They put in deliberate efforts. They are very focused. They are behind a cause. And that's what I'm asking you to do for yourselves. Life puts ideas in front of us all the time. There are these amazing recommendations. You open your phone, you open your Instagram, there's some recommendation of a good movie or some new app or something new happening in your town. There are all these ideas. There's so many things that we would want to do. But we forget most of them. Of course, limited bandwidth. We forget most of them. But what you have to realize is that there is value to those things. And not just that, there is value to storing those ideas. Write them down. So, there is value to storing those ideas, so you must write them down. Okay? Because the next time you will sit down and you're short of ideas to decorate your future timeline, there'll be this list that you had prepared for some good books that you had to read, or some good movies you had to watch, some nice places you had to travel with your spouse or with your girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever, with your parents, right? There is obviously going to be this list, and you will never be short on ideas. Just pull those ideas out. Arrange them in your future timeline. Writing is important, and if something involves booking, book it. I mean it when I say this. My trips for the entire year 2024, the tickets are already done. I'm not kidding. when you're married, it is easy, you know. You have your anniversary coming up, you gift something to your husband, you have somebody's birthday coming up, you book another trip, so then it is easier. But yes, I do have my trips planned. I do have my entire 2024 ahead of me planned, where all I have to go, what all I have to see. So by planning, by booking things, what happens is that those things become real. Your ideas gain objectivity. Do whatever it takes to keep them in front of your eyes, in front of your mind. By doing that, you're sure that you're not leaving anything to chances. You're tying yourself up in tickets that are booked, hotels that are done, in the lists that have been prepared, list of books, list of dishes that you want to learn, all of that stuff. World has so much to offer, so much to explore, so much to experience, so much to know. There's so much to do. And top-down approach is actually the only practical way of doing that. When you follow top-down approach, you're making sure that you're doing things that you want to do in life. Because our regular lives have a tendency of developing a pattern for us. Fixed patterns. We meet the same people every day. We eat same food. We read the same books. We're doing everything similar day after day. Top-down approach is your way of breaking out of that monotony. To break that stasis. Try it. What does the future hold for me? I don't know. Tons of experiences, many new people I will meet, new travel destinations probably I will see. A lot of that is going to happen, of course. There are going to be a lot of broad strokes on the canvas of my time, and there are going to be a lot of mundane fills. By top-down approach, what I'm doing is, I'm just making sure that out of those few strokes, those mundane fills, big or small, some are mine. I hand paint them. I don't leave everything to chance. 4,000 weeks is what you have in your lives, give or take. And each one of us has this blank canvas ahead of us. I urge you to start painting. Talk खत्म हो गई, मगर picture अभी बाकी है मेरे दोस्त. That's all.
Wow.
Thank you.